this is going to be. So as you can see, this is my other motor. I've got the old T4 Transporter, which I'm sure you've seen plenty of. And this one here at the moment, as you can see, is currently a non-runner. The old engine is out and it has been split down into the big three, so the head, the block and the crank, and all the associated components and accessories have all been segregated and kept in little boxes and whatnot. So to rewind back to about 2021, me and a friend set about turbocharging this car, and again, to cut a long story short, it was successful. We were running a Garage 25 660 turbo on there, just a smidge over a bar of boost. It was making 455 horsepower and 306 foot-pound of torque. Happily bimbling along, you know, for 1,000 to 1,500 miles, and then one lovely Sunday afternoon I was out for a bit of a drive, and I decided to stretch the legs of the car a bit. As it was a motorbike, I wanted to have a bit of a play. I went for it in second gear, and when I went for third gear, there was no power there. Of course, I couldn't hear much because there was a motorbike screaming like hell to the right of me. And in the meantime, I dipped my foot on the clutch, and the engine just instantly cut out. But when the bike had gone, I was coasting along doing 60-70 mile an hour, so I decided to let the clutch back out in third/fourth gear, I think it was, and it was making a god almighty awful rattling noise, at which point then I decided to coast it for a quarter of a mile, and was stuck on the side of the road, and then I ended up getting recovered home then. So this was around about September sort of time, and since then I've stripped the obviously taken the engine out of the vehicle, and we've stripped the components down, ready for essentially re-sleeving the block and fitting all new forged internals and whatnot. But to show you the chaos and the carnage that has been done, I'm sure some of you have seen the shorts video that I put up of the valves, the head and the piston. Yes, we'll come down to here. These were in an order. I mean, they're all scrap, these are, because they're absolutely battered, as you could full well imagine. We dropped 2 exhaust valves at 9,000 RPM essentially, and it's done that damage there. And then obviously material carried into the other cylinders, which again damaged and scored the pistons, and bits of valve seat and valve material have ended up in the other cylinders as well. Like I say, scored the hell out of the cylinders, or rather the pistons, and where the cylinder makes contact with the piston, you see there how rough it is there, all the coating's gone and whatnot as well. It's frustrating really, because it was a healthy engine, burned minimal oil. I mean, the bearings, upon relatively close inspection, weren't showing signs of major wear, what you'd expect of like an 80,000-90,000 mile car. But I put a lot of this down here, some of these scores from material flying around in the oiling system. As you can see there's material on that bearing shell there, but the ones that didn't seem to get much swarf on them looks very healthy, and the same goes for the main bearings, the thrust washers. It's frustrating really, because it was quite a healthy engine, or because, from what I can assume, is a little bit of valve float and an excessive amount of two-step, or rather ignition cut, has made the pistons come into contact with the valves and do that essentially. It's what I can assimilate anyway, because when I stripped the engine down, or rather the cam cover off, I have got some pictures of it which I'll attach into this video. Is the retainers were all crack free. They're actually AP1 retainers as well. They weren't the thicker ones like I thought they were. They're AP1 retainers, completely crack free. They're absolutely perfect. The only thing I found is when I removed the cam ladders now, the camshaft carriers, was that there was a shattered keeper, completely shattered. Now I don't know whether that was because of forces of the valve getting pushed back up into the head against the cams as it shattered it. I don't know, but if I had to say anything, I'd say it was valve float and boost pressure. So I'm going to take you over to the bench now to show you the carnage that it has caused upon the big three. So we'll start off with the cylinder head. I'm just going to pause you for a moment so I can flip it on its side. So we'll actually start off with the cylinder head. So, well, yeah, it's pretty apparent for those that haven't seen the cylinder head in the shorts video, is how much damage has actually caused. The spark plug is well and truly embedded in there. I tried removing it and it won't come out. You can see there that the valve guides have taken an absolute battering to the point where they've been shattered. That's both inlet and exhaust. I have actually got the valves here, bear with me. So there's essentially what remains of the inlet valves there. Bendy, they are, well and truly. And then here's your remains of your exhaust valves. There were other bits and bobs, namely valve seat material that's been shattered. And like I said, to give an example of a retainer here, alright, there's a little bit of damage on the inside there, but I put that down to the actual carnage that's gone on in the engine. I don't think that's wear. I think that's actual damage from the carnage. And like I say, all the retainers and the keepers were all in fantastic condition, barring one that had shattered, but the valves are still in situ as such. And like I say, see the valve train hiding underneath there. Obviously that was the cylinder that let go, and the cams and that look in all right condition, to be fair. So yeah, that's the damage to the head components. As far as the block goes, this is the failed cylinder, cylinder number 4, and you can see the absolute carnage that it's caused inside that cylinder. Mangled, absolutely mangled. And then of course debris made its way from the inlet tract into the other cylinders, so we had damage there, some very heavy scores and scratches. Same for cylinder number 2 there, and cylinder number 1 as well. Now the bore looks to have gone ovaled. As you see there's no carbon ring here, and there's next to no carbon ring there either. Is that from the damage? Because there was a lot of swarf in there, presumably because it's on the same stroke as number 4. It's picked up a lot of the debris and gone down into that bore. But yes, substantial amount of damage done to that block there, which is why it's going to get sleeved, dart and dry sleeves, all being well. I've already got them in my ownership in the house. Just need machining and fitting, obviously. As for the next one, is the crank. The crank has come off quite lightly, to be fair. 2 of the main journals, main number 4, there's one barely feel that, and I mean that's being 100% honest, barely feel that one there. One of the pins, pin number 3, has got a very fine score on it. Pin number 2 actually has a fine score on it as well. That main there has got a bit of scuffing on it on this side here, which you can definitely feel, so it's going to want a polish. I'm going to just send the crank in for a micro polish, and then go from there, really. But the crank has come off quite lightly. It's mainly the block and the cylinder head itself that have obviously bore the brunt of the damage. But the plan is now to get the old steam cleaner out, steam clean the block, thrash out all the high passage, or rather the high pressure oil galleys, because there is swarf dotted about everywhere. So it's going to get steam cleaned, high pressure cleaned, to remove the swarf from the high pressure oil wells, because it's guaranteed to be swarf in there somewhere. So yes, what I'll probably end up doing is giving you more of an update when we've had the machine work done and whatnot, because there isn't going to be a great deal to see from now on till I get that done. So hopefully, I hope this video captures your attention, and we'll have a bit of fun recording along the way, and keeping a lot of, well, I say a big diary of what's going on. It's like a proof of record of what's gone into the engine as well. So I hope this hasn't been too much of a nose and a bit of a bore, really. I know there's not much fruitiness gone on or much in the way of spanner work now, but I can't do a great deal till we obviously get the sleeves put into here. So for now, I hope this video finds you well. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and a happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video with hopefully some sleeves fitted to this block. If you like what you see, please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe. It means a great deal to me. My subscriber count is slowly creeping up, so I bid you again a very big thank you for those that are followers and keen followers to this video. So I shall hope to see you all very soon, and take care.